Why, hello! What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Missflips. In today's episode, we are making over this lovely guy. He is a record cabinet, or a corner shelf of some sort. But all we know is that he's cute and looking for some love. For today's video, we are participating in the Furniture Flippers Challenge. It's a challenge actually taking place over on Instagram, so I don't know if any other people are doing it on here, but I do know that it is hosted by Walissa over at A Life Refurbished, and it's also hosted by Christina over at Pretty Distressed. And for this challenge, our goal is to either make it shine through restoring it or shine through refurbishing it, and I think we both know what I'm gonna do, so
let's get flippin'.
The first thing that we're going to start by doing is removing all of the elements that I don't want to be on the piece when I'm either painting or cleaning or whatever have you. So I'm starting off by removing these wheels. I'm not going to use them on the final product of the piece. So I'm just removing them to make room for the new legs, and then I'm going to be removing this front part of trim here and then cutting off these side parts of the wood just so I can give it a whole new look on the base. So initially I wanted to remove these guys, but it turns out that they leave some pretty massive holes behind, so I am just gonna remove them so I can paint them gold and then replace them back where they belong later. I'm just kidding, we're fine. And looky here, I'm using my chisel to unscrew screws. Yay for multi-purposing tools. But look at this really cool hardware, so awesome, I love it. After giving all the pieces proper time to dry, I made sure to go over all of them again with a second coat and then again with a polyurethane top coat finish. That way it would prevent any scratches or scrapes or rubbing from the hinges and all that good stuff. And then I did 3 total coats of the polyurethane. So these pieces were obviously not real brass, but I just wanted to clean them off before I sprayed it. That way the spray would go onto the piece directly, but just look at the difference that this makes. Real brass or not, these guys clean up pretty good. So originally I thought this piece was just laminate, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it is, because when I started sanding, the edges started to become like this light color that led me to believe that it was in fact veneer. So instead of just scuff sanding the entire piece and painting it, I started to really get an idea of where I saw this piece going, and this right here really made me hopeful. And so I started sanding the sides of them, hoping that it would be the same material, and sure enough, this beautiful wood grain started peeking out. And yeah, it might be artificial wood grain or something. I honestly am not quite sure, but it looks gorgeous. So I ended up doing this really cool pattern design on the side, and we're gonna tape it off and do something really fun with it. For the rest of the piece, I did end up scuff sanding it just so the paint has something to adhere to, and for this wood trim, I just smoothed it down so it was nice and soft instead of that factory finish. I definitely recommend getting a Wagner spray tent, or just any spray tent for that matter, if you do end up spraying, because it saves you so much cleanup time, and in case you have any spills or, spray off, which with a sprayer it's pretty much unavoidable, it helps with all of that, and it helps it not get all over the rest of your stuff. Please don't make fun of me for what I'm about to do. If anyone has a better idea on how to draw a circle, because obviously I could use one of those like circumference draw metal compass things. I'm forgetting what they're called right now. I'm making myself look like an idiot. Anyways, if anyone has any recommendations, that'd be great, because I'm sitting here with a Ziploc bag and a pencil stuck through it to draw circles. And yeah, but anyways, it turned out pretty good. And then you just cut it with a knife and you get some rounded edges and it looks really cool. For the paint color, I'm honestly just working with what I got. So I have a little bit of Jacob's Well in 2 different containers. So I'm pouring one of that into that one. And then I am working with some Basilisk Black, which is kind of like a really, really dark navy blue. And I'm putting in there. And honestly, it kind of turned out a little darker than I wanted it to, but it still ended up being this really deep, rich green color. Don't do what I just did, and please make sure to filter your paint before putting it in the sprayer, because you don't want to look like me and look like an absolute fool and have clumps of paint coming out of your sprayer or clogging your sprayer every 2 seconds, as you can see me pausing intermittently to pull out the paint. Anyways, the finish turned out okay. I just made sure to get the clumps of paint out of the finish before it dried, and it ended up looking just fine. But anyways, yeah, this is the color. I think it is gorgeous. As I said, it's a little darker than I wanted, and it dries a little darker than it looks now, but still, it's beautiful. By the way, if you don't know how to use a Wagner paint sprayer, feel free to check out my video where I teach you guys all about how to use it, how to set it up, and how to clean it properly so that you don't end up getting stuck with a messy, clogged paint sprayer. I ended up doing a total of 2 coats on this piece because melange has really great coverage, especially when it's sprayed on, I find. So I found that 2 coats were all that I needed, and I made sure to sand with a really fine sandpaper in between each coat. For the top coat, I used a semi-gloss polyurethane and I just went and sprayed it on the bad boy and let it dry overnight. And then I did another coat the next morning, same thing, you want to sand in between each coat with a fine sandpaper. For the base, I actually had these legs lying around from a while ago. I wanted to use them on a previous project, but I ended up just not liking the way that they looked, so I ended up just putting them aside for later use. And here we are, months later, finally putting them to use. And yes, I know they're already gold, but I wanted the gold color to match all the other hardware that I sprayed, so I sprayed everything the same color. For these lovely pieces of trim that I actually really liked the look of, I unfortunately should have put them on after I put the doors on because the doors wouldn't, or the one on the right at least, had a really hard time going on, so I had to remove them and then put them on back after I put on the doors. So yeah, just little tip from Miss. Don't add trim underneath doors until you add the doors first, I guess, is the the moral of the story that we're telling here. Before I show you guys the end result, I just wanted to say another huge thank you to Alyssa and Christina for hosting this challenge, and to Makers Challenge Central for putting it on. Make sure to go check all of them out over on Instagram. That is where the challenge is going to be happening. Just look up the hashtag Furniture Flip Challenge and you should see all of the entry results there. But anyways, thank you so much you guys for watching. I appreciate all of your love. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and do all those things so that we can stay a happy flippin' family. But until next time, guys, stay flippin'.